no comment.
Difference between boring and people wanting to get away from you. I'm not boring.
Very true. You have a point. I like that. I'm going to have to remember that insult. Put it in my pocket.
I'm anything but boring.
Five minutes? Where's he counting down?
The Toyota San Bernardino Recording Studio presents IE Newswire Daily with Roy Bleckert and Stephanie Meyer. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Yes, we are. We're coming back on a Money Monday.
And Monday Night Football.
And Monday Night Football on that all across the board. One of the few things, and that's kind of the only thing that's really going on too much in the sports area, is actually football at this time of the year. Well, basketball is going. Well, to mention that, though, the Lakers are actually
kicking butt.
Oh, man. 24-3 they won last night against the Hawks. And this is, almost exactly the third of the season. If they're 24-3, their record is going to project to 73-9.
Wow.
If they at the into 82 games,
I don't know what any of that means.
if they keep up at that pace, that means they're winning a heck of a lot.
Okay.
And
no, if I'm going to bet, I should bet on Lakers.
Yeah, the Bucks are almost exact. The Milwaukee Bucks are actually almost the same record as them. They're really hot. Both of those teams in the East and West are really, really, really hot. I didn't expect the Lakers to be this good this early, but LeBron James and Anthony Davis are just tearing it up. And the support pieces like Danny Green, and they had Cuz on there, and Avery Bradley and stuff. The support pieces they put around that team and the coaching of Frank Vogel has been absolutely fantastic. The defense has been a lot better. Man, they're looking like and it's really ironic. The Golden State Warriors, were like, on top of the world. Everybody was on there. Now they're at the bottom. The Lakers last year were at the bottom of the division. Now they're at the top. I mean, it's like a 180 reversal in 1 year.
180.
Which is like that. Mentioning Monday Night Football, the Colts and the Saints are up on.
You're taking my lines, man. Tonight on Monday Night Football, we got the Colts and the Saints.
There you go. Of that.
And tonight we're going to have a special location that we're going to be out watching this night's Monday Night Football. Where are we going to be, Roy?
Yes, we're going to be at Mountain Mike's in Redlands.
What?
And if you mention Stephanie as a goddess, you'll get 20% off of your
See, I take care of my people.
Order of that.
I can't believe you actually said that. I love it. Wow.
There you go.
But no, really, if you go in and you mention iNewswire, you will get 20% off your order tonight.
On that. So that'll be a trick deal. And then
they just opened a couple weeks ago.
Come in and say hi to us at Monday Night Football. We'll be taking right off after this to head over there and check out this. This is a grand opening of their new location there?
They opened a couple weeks ago, so we will have the manager at the end of the show to talk about a little bit of what's been going on, some specials they have, and all the different games they play. They have the football ticket. I think is there a basketball one too? I think they have the basketball one, so they show all the games.
Yes, they have plenty of screen. I mean, they must have like 10 screens across there going everything, so you can keep up to date on all the sports stuff. Yes, and great.
And
food.
I would recommend the mango squeeze if you go out and you feel like a beer.
There you go. And they do even have a nice salad bar in there for those of you that want to really eat healthy on there. And those of you who are the vegan persuasion or don't want to.
And they offer gluten-free crust.
They offer gluten-free crust on that too. So
yeah, you're gonna give me one later. I forgot to tell you. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Have you ever had? Have you ever had pizza made with the buckwheat flour?
I have not, but I want to try the cauliflower pizza.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious how it tastes.
I know, me too.
Does it taste like cardboard, or does it actually taste like?
It would taste like
a lot of that vegan stuff is like foo-foo.
No, now it's tasting good. Cupcake and Espresso, they have a vegan sandwich. I get it all the time. Me and Lucy always split it. And then I put Tabasco sauce on it. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah. No, I put
Dump the Tabasco on it.
No, Tapatio.
Oh,
Well,
well,
it's like the same thing.
well, no, Tapatio is nowhere near. And Tabasco sauce is, Tabasco is lightweight in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I mean, on the and I mean, but that's usually about the hottest thing you can get at most places. That's why I asked for Tabasco, because that's usually the hottest thing they got. And I mean, I usually use like half a bottle of it when I'm at the facility. But yeah, Tabasco will mask over all that foo-foo stuff, and at least you can taste something when you're.
No, you gotta try the vegan sandwich. It's really good.
Everything
it tastes like sausage.
Well, everything that Foddy and the crew make over at Cupcake and
amazing.
Espresso bar is really good. It's and talking about that, and that's
even the eggs vegan, and I don't like eggs.
You don't like eggs?
No, I can't eat eggs. I cannot eat eggs.
Really?
Yes. You want to hear the backstory?
Yeah, that's what's.
I'll quickly do it because I know you want to get into something else that's going to be boring for everybody. Anyways. So, growing up, we were painting the outside of the house, right? And there was a bird's nest. So, paint ended up getting all over the bird's nest. So, the mom was never going to come back to the nest. But there was eggs in there.
And the babies didn't make it.
So, ding! I'm like, I'm going to hatch these freaking eggs.
Oh.
So, no. My parents had a heat pad. So, I, look up. I think then I was, waited for the dial-up internet on AOL to finally load and figure out how to hatch these eggs. Would hold a little flashlight up, see them moving around inside the egg. Put him on the heat pad, talk to him and all that weird crap that I did. And then one night, a sibling of mine was intoxicated. He went and stepped on all the eggs. Killed them. But one was finally hatching. And ever since then, I'm like, I can't eat eggs. Out of respect for my little baby chicks that I was raising, I can't do it. It grosses me out.
I could understand.
It grosses me out. I feel like there's little babies inside of all of them.
My mom and her older sister were the same way. They were kids, and their dad made them eat their pet rabbits or something, and yeah, they had a big phobia about that. So I mean,
if I ever went to a slaughterhouse and I raised a pig or a cow or a chicken,
I don't know.
I would never be able to eat that meat again.
No, try raising a turkey. Them are the dumbest animals.
A turkey?
Yes. They're so. That's why you have to keep them in or sheltered. They will, if it's raining outside, they will actually look up and try and drink the water and drown themselves off the rain.
How's that stupid? They're thirsty.
Yeah,
they're being useful.
No,
resourceful.
If you've ever been around a turkey, them things, they got no brains.
I want to go and check out turkeys.
And I did one time. I had a pet raven around here, and I get the ravens. There's 3 or 4 of them that nest up in the old cement tower up there. But there was a study, and I think at Harvard or something, they were studying the carnivorous crows and the ravens. They said they're actually some of the smartest animals. They're almost in intelligence of primates, like apes and stuff. They really do. Yeah, they make their own tools.
Shut up.
Yes, they were following him, and they find a certain wood that's real soft in tools, because they had one captive, and they threw some wire into it, and they thought the bird, and this is how they studied it, they thought the bird actually figured it out from the wire, but then they started studying them in the wild, and they've been doing it for who knows how many centuries. They've been using that for what they do is they pick the bugs. They made the little tools with the wood, and they would pick the bugs out of the bark of certain trees. When the bugs would hide in the bark and they couldn't get them with their beaks, they would make little hooks on these wooden deals, and they would dig the insects out and eat them.
Wow, that's very interesting.
But they're doing that. I know my great grandmother.
They're cute when they're babies.
And I'll tell you another one that's
adorable.
The smart is my great grandmother had a minor bird, and it would play. She taught it to play the piano.
No way.
And she taught it to sew, but
Shut
then the dang bird pecked its beak with the needle, and it gave that was the end of the sewing part.
That's cool.
But no,
I want a sewing bird.
So, yeah, some of the bird species are, there's the old saying, a bird brain, probably from the turkeys, because they're.
I got me one of them. I'm just kidding. Don't agree with me. What the hell?
I'm not saying anything. But no, from that,
Anyways.
but no, some of the, and I will that man, and that's what they said because I think I told the story about the one that was over here with the broken wing,
Yeah.
and that's what they said, man. They say you can't leave anything around because they like the shiny objects, like the one I had. Man, you'd lay a tool down, turn around, that bird would have it like a nothing flat. It's a good thing you couldn't fly very far with the broken wing or couldn't get away from it, else I would have had no tools because that thing, man, it would sit there and watch you. I mean, hours. And I mean, like I say, as soon as you turned around, walked away, boom, man, she'd have the wrenches in her beak going off the other way. So that's it. But no, they are. You can talk to them and stuff if you go up in the
You go and
tower.
talk to your birds a lot?
Yeah, when you go up there and they'll fly
I'm
around.
never going up there. You're tripping.
Of that, and yeah, they'll get real close to you and stuff. And even though they're wild birds, they'll get right. Once they get used to you, they're actually very friendly, and they.
I heard
they do
ravens
that.
are really mean though.
I don't know. They never attacked me. Well, the one we had with the broken wing in the cage, yeah, it was kind of a
I heard they're
mean,
not very nice.
mean little.
Kind of have attitudes.
Yes, it did. It did have an attitude on that.
Either it was the bird or it was you. I don't know. Ann writes in, not my dad, but my mother's side of the family. I think
Oh,
she's going back. to
that
the
was
rabbit.
okay. Yeah, well, I got the story mixed
Just
up a
wanted to
little
clear it
bit.
up.
Yes.
For her.
That was on that. Yeah, I knew it was
So, I
something
get
like
your
that
mom.
because they had absolute phobia about that. So yeah, So I understand I mean, I understand that of why you probably don't can't. So you never eat eggs anywhere?
I used to love eggs though. Growing up, me and my dad would always eat hard-boiled eggs every Easter. I would make deviled eggs.
Yes,
like,
deviled egg. Yeah, you're missing out on all that.
I
good-
know. I used to make them all the time.
I
I was
mean-
like, I got it down pat too. I mean, they were amazing. I could have sold them.
I
on the
love
street.
eggs.
And now I
I mean, I cook like
I can't.
well, I do. I mean, I eat like 4 to 6 of them at a time.
And then growing up too in elementary school, instead of doing the frog, they wanted to do chicken breast, and then we had to take the chicken breast and pull out all the veins. So now whenever I cut chicken breast to make like chicken tenders and stuff, it grosses me out. I get past it, but I cut like everything out. There's like no chicken left by the time I'm done cutting it.
So we'll get you the one of the things, but a lot of stuff, and we'll probably pick up the impeachment hearings or the FBI stuff tomorrow because Comey said something absolutely stunning. I mean, I was railing about the IG's report and all the stuff that they were doing, spying illegally on the president and Carter Page and everything else. Comey was interviewed by Chris Wallace yesterday on whatever Fox News and said, "Oh, well, that was like tiddlywinks compared to what we were doing. I mean, this thing's getting worse up and down. I mean, because I think Chris Wallace asked him, well, would you resign over the? No, that was like nothing compared to what we were doing. I mean, the FBI needs to be totally flushed down the toilet and
Totally
rebuilt.
flushed down.
I mean, if they're
Get rid of all of them.
if they're that much
Fire
of a
Roy.
if they're that much of a rogue agency, we're in deep trouble. Yes, that's the FBI swirling down the toilet
Aw.
on the issue. No, the other one, which was a surprise to me, and two things. And I mean, we talk about it a lot, but the case in Boise, Idaho. The mayor of and have the videos and the props and stuff I had from my end set up on that. The mayor of Idaho decided that they were getting homeless camps and whatever parked on the sidewalk and stuff. So he he gets the law enforcement out there. We're going to ticket these guys, get them off the street, yada yada yada. Well, it went to the Ninth Circuit, which is the court just below the Supreme Court. There's 9 circuits all across the the country's divided into 9 sections, circuit courts. U.S. circuit courts, and we're in the 9th one with Hawaii, Arizona, Idaho, Hawaii, Alaska, and Washington, Oregon. I think I got them all. If not, I'll do the deal. But
Okay.
so it went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says no, you cannot arrest them unless you have a sheltered bed or some place for them to go. So if they are camped down your sidewalk, in front of your house, up and down the street, in the park, whatever, you cannot ticket them or ask them to leave unless we, the people, provide a shelter for them. So the mayor of Idaho, Beitler, I think is his name, took the case to the, appealed to the Supreme Court after it went up to the Ninth Circuit and said, hey, would you look at this? We wanted, so the Supreme Court looked at it, and today they decided not to take the case. Which means they probably were not going to reverse the decision. That's usually the Supreme Court, because they can put it on, 4 of the 9 justices can put it on, but that's like futile. If you don't have 5 to reverse the decision, for one thing, why waste the time? And then if you shoot at it and lose, then it becomes effective. That ruling becomes effective across the whole United States, not only the 9 states and the 9 circuits. Right. So they decided not to take the case up, which was very surprising because a lot of us had predicted, the Supreme Court's going to save us on this one. And it's thrown everything into a quandary because now law enforcement, cities and stuff are asking, well, what do we have to do? Can we not arrest them now? Do we have to provide, let's take L.A. where there's 50,000 homeless. Does there have to be 50,000 beds available somewhere before you can sweep the streets? Where this really gets into, and it was about a year ago when they were all camped down on the Santa Ana River down there in Anaheim. I mean, like 4 or 5 miles deep, and they're stealing electricity from the houses and just, turning the area into a blank hole. And they did clean them up. They did get them out of there. But this is Santa Rosa's got another place that's been trying to get rid of them, along with Idaho. And voila, Supreme Court said, well, we're not taking up the case, which means there probably wasn't 5 justices to overturn it, which is a little bit surprising. I said, watch Roberts. We know the 4 on the left side are probably going to withhold it. Roberts, and the 4, Alito, Clarence Thomas, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh would probably vote, to overturn it. But it was probably, and I'm predicting was Roberts, the one that was wavering on the deal. So they decided not to take the case up. So that's going to be that's going to throw a major monkey wrench into things because can you do the side by side on the IENs of the two stories I posted today? On the man, did this stuff blow up like a balloon on that? People are commenting on this, man. It got shared all over the place.
What are you talking about?
This whole Supreme Court deal.
I'm kidding.
So here's the side by side. You can see the arrests. 63 arrests were made last week across Hemet and Paris in those areas. Residents from Moreno Valley, L.A., Hemet, San Jacinto, I think all across the region were, and there's some mug shots of them. There's on top on the other side, on the right-hand side, for those of you watching or looking at the screen, you're seeing the top is the tent city that's Santa Rosa part of it, that they are doing that. They're just lining the tents right up on the street, right in front of the park. And then I had there's the 9 Supreme Court justices, which I made the circle with the red slash on, because take this. Now, I'm going to personalize this. What would happen, what is to stop the vagrants, the transients, whatever, from setting up shop on the sidewalk right in front of your home and saying, hey, this is mine. Now we can't get rid of them unless we, the people, pony up something. And then the big question is, the even broader question is, what if they don't accept the help? What if they don't want shelter, which most of them don't? We went through the whole deal. They've done the stuff. They went through there. They offered them, all of these that they're arrested, the 63, they offered them help. Do you need assistance? And the vast majority of them, in about 90% of the cases, they don't want help. So, fine. But they're creating if nothing else, they're creating a health hazard.
Right.
They're pooping and crapping in the street. There's no sanitation. It's going to start diseases and everything else if this stuff keeps. Now it's even strengthened to proliferate, at least in our 9 western states out here. because it's handcuffing law enforcement, our city councils, our county supervisors, our states, from dealing with the problem.
See, but why aren't people making them uncomfortable?
Well, that's what
like, why aren't people going out of their way to make them?
That's what the cops are.
Not to be mean, but make them miserable for where they're staying, and maybe they'll leave.
Well, that's why I applaud.
Bring Roy down there; they'll be gone like that.
Yes.
I mean,
see, Chad, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, hire Roy. I'll just go out there and scare them all to death.
I'm just saying, because I know when we had our former police chief here in Moreno Valley, he said we're trying to make them uncomfortable because by law they can't really arrest these people for being up in the hills or wherever. Because their hands are tied on it.
Well, and that's what, like you said, that's what the sheriff and his team, like you say, with the 63 arrests last week.
Right.
That's what they're doing. They're doing with whatever is in their
they got to find
purview.
The reason.
But yeah, you've got to find now. You can't just walk up to them and say, well. So let's say the city of Moreno Valley decided we're going to put a 10:30 curfew in all our parks.
Right.
Nobody in there. Yada, yada, yada.
Which I think all do.
Yeah, but see, this is where the supremacy clause comes in on the law. It is now federal law across, which is on the top of the food chain, federal, state, counties, and cities.
Right.
Moreno Valley could pass all the curfew laws they want, say you can't camp here or that. Now it's at the federal level. They are superior to the cities. So the homeless person can say, you know what, Supreme Court, Boise versus whatever, says unless you provide us with a shelter, you have enough beds for all of us to do, we can stay here. So that is the big importance of that Supreme Court ruling. And it would be nice, and there was no dissent or no reason why, but usually in those cases, if the Supreme Court is, like I said, if they're not going to reverse it, or they don't have the 5 votes to reverse the decision, they just, for one thing, is not dealing with it. But if it went to the Supreme Court, let's say it lost there, then that case precedence would be all across the 50 states instead of just the 9 out here. So in those that probably would have overturned it, probably didn't push the point because they probably had 4 votes to put it in front of the Supreme Court, but they didn't have that 5th vote to reverse the decision. So they probably just made the decision, well, come back another day or hope it comes back, hope we can get a more favorable report. And this is the reason why the 2020 election is going to be very important. Roberts is flaking on a lot of stuff on here. So if Trump gets back in, not wishing anybody ill will, but, Bader Ginsburg's in and out of the hospital, cancer at 86, Breyer's up there at 80. The other two, one, what is it, Sotomayor, or one of them, Kagan? One of them's got diabetes real bad on the 4 on the other side. If Trump can appoint in the next deal one more Supreme Court justice, then you got a cushion on this stuff. Then it becomes a lot. Then hopefully it will become a lot. You can lose one like a Roberts who seems to drift off the reservation per se.
What does that have to do with what is this with homeless?
Well, because now we're in a situation where it's making law enforcement in these 9 states more difficult to deal with the problem. They actually have to find something. They just can't. The city, county, let's say Riverside County, let's say San Bernardino, which is probably, Lord knows if there's a city that needs help, it's San Bernardino. Let's just say tomorrow San Bernardino passed the same law. You can't, we're going to put our curfew on 10:30. Nobody in the parks, no loitering on the streets, yada, yada, yada. Well, they're going to come back and say, well, yes, we can, unless you provide us with and then that, again, what do you do in the case of they don't accept the shelter, which they do in about 90% of the cases.
Anyways.
Right. So how does that work?
My thing is, when a sports team loses, people are in the streets rioting, throwing things, fighting the police officers. But when there's homeless people and people are pissed off about it crapping in your lawn, why are we sitting there doing nothing? think about that, Roy?
Well, it's a very good question. That's what we're...
Not to give people ideas and to say, let's go out and protest and, like, throw stuff and fight law enforcement over homeless people. I'm just saying.
But no,
choose what we get upset about.
That's it. But yes, but it is. They're pushing, and that's what I'm afraid of. Is they're pushing people, the vast majority of us, to have a confrontation. And it almost got to a confrontation down there and we had the videos of that. When it was down there on the Santa Ana River when they had, and I mean that was about 5 miles long of where they were on that. Like it was getting to the point because they were rolling extension cords from the apartments across the deal there to run their hibachis and TVs and charge their cell phones that we're paying for and all that other stuff. And I mean, it was getting to the point where the residents were about ready to start they were about ready to start
they will.
Vigilante taking care of business. And that's why it was a good thing. Now, and they got rid of, they cleaned that problem up down there in Orange County and got that, got it all situated away, which has kind of affected us because, they've moved up here and some of the stuff on that. But be it as it may, we don't want to make it, we seem to keep making it more difficult for our elected officials and law enforcement to do their jobs, which is what this ruling as it stands right now is making it heavier to do, because now they've got to come up with that. And again, it's kind of the rebound thing of where everybody or a few were boo-hoo-hooing after the 3 strikes law, where if you got 3 convictions, you were automatically in jail for life. It didn't matter if they were misdemeanor convictions, felonies, whatever. You got 3 and you were out.
Right.
So we repealed that law because, it's inhumane, yada, yada, yada. Well, not that this would be the best way to deal with it, but like as you've seen with that, most of them are technically misdemeanor crimes that the 63 were arrested, drug possession, heroin, meth possession, drug paraphernalia. Well, some of them warrant spousal battery, yada, yada, yada. But most of them are misdemeanors. But had the original 3 strikes law been in effect, well, you could arrest him on 3 felonies, then they would be eligible for, not eligible, they would be incarcerated for life under the 3 strikes law, which is probably not the best deal, like I say. And a lot of people, I think, are coming, we've talked with Susan Shelley on it and a lot. We probably need to start opening back up like Patton State hospitals and stuff, or do something where we've got to have a mechanism to control the people that are mentally ill causing most of this problem.
But I think a lot of people want to be homeless. Now it's kind of, in a way, trending where you can go and rent like a van or like transform it to live out of. We saw a guy in front of Target yesterday charging his phone with solar panels that he created. I mean, they're getting crafty. They don't want to live in apartments. They don't want to pay for rent. They don't want to pay for electricity. So they just would rather live on the street.
Well, no, because they run but most.
I'm not saying
most of their money is either getting shot in heroin or meth up the deal, or drugs and all that other, which is fine if you can do that on your own dime, on your own property, away from everybody else, and you're not causing health hazards and anything else. My world, fine and dandy. Do whatever you want as long as you're not affecting me. When you're affecting me and everyone, the vast majority of all of us, that's when we have a problem.
Right.
And that's what we got to solve. Because
how would you feel if they were up in the mountains and then, like, urinating and stuff like that?
Well,
like
again,
back into the land.
Yeah, again, it's not... all of us buy a house or something, a domicile, that we either rent or buy or whatever. That's our shelter. That they don't own it. It's not theirs.
Right.
They're, just like you can't walk into somebody else's house and just start demanding, hey, change the channel, go get me a beer, yada, yada. No, that's their... Now, in your house, you can do,
You do that all the time when you come over.
Well...
Just kidding. That's what my mom said. Oh, that didn't sound right.
But,
My dad was there too. Oh my God, I'm just gonna stop talking.
No, well, yeah, like I said, you're like the vast majority, or vast majority of politicians anyway, or criminals. When you're in a hole, stop digging.
Come on,
Whatever,
do
Roy.
it.
Never learn the first law of holes. No, it's part of that. Have the video of Mayor Beitler of Boise, Idaho, of doing that, and he'll kind of explain the problem of that. Go ahead and roll it.
Like to do that you are
It's on
precluded from
CNN.
doing because of this ruling?
Well, Michael, it's really our status quo. We have to be able to cite people that are camping so that we don't have camps forming that are unsafe, unsanitary. That's really the situation we have now. We use it very rarely. In this year, we've only used it 4 times. We're allowed to cite while the case is pending. We simply can't have the camps that form if we're not allowed to eventually issue a citation. We issue warnings first, several times. There has to be space in a shelter. Our officers will call a shelter first. Is there space? And if there is, they can cite. If there isn't, they can't. We have to have that tool to keep the camps from forming. This is not an academic exercise. We had a camp form about 5 years ago, about 120 people. It was unsafe. We actually had a homicide in the camp. We know what happens if we aren't allowed to do this. We simply want to maintain the status quo, which is working quite well, while we go to work on building more housing and more services for the homeless.
Erwin Chemerinsky is the dean at the Berkeley Law School. I'm going to put on the screen what he said. He said that a city can't make it a crime to be a homeless person. You would respond how to him?
It's not a crime to be a homeless person. It's a crime to take public property for private use. And that's all we're saying. We have to have the ability to keep these unsafe conditions from forming. It's really hurting the people that we want to help. It's a tool that local governments need. It's working quite well in the city of Boise. We use it very sparingly. That's not we're the ground level form of government. The federal government isn't doing near enough. States aren't doing near enough. It's a societal issue, but we simply have to have this tool to be able to move things along, to keep these conditions from forming. Once they're formed, people would say only cite after there's something else that happens. After you have a homicide, after you have these terribly unsafe conditions, it doesn't work that way. I appreciate the professor, but it's just not a practice.
He's exactly right. I mean, you cannot let, private citizens occupy public property or somebody else's property. It's just not, it's going to lead to a lot of complications that, again, you're just killing your quality of life. What if, we keep letting this proliferate. We've already seen it. Typhus and lots of diseases are starting down in L.A. They've had to close down sections of L.A. Central, the City Hall, because there's diseases and stuff breaking out in our public buildings because of this. And that's what the main concern of this. And they're not out there just busting everybody. Like he said, we're not, which they, in my world, I probably would. But I mean, they're, like you said, we've been using this sparingly just to kind of, when it gets to the point of we have to do something, we were using this tool and now it's taken away from us.
I agree.
So, that's the long and the short of it. And what's really trouble?
I say just make them uncomfortable and let them. They're gonna keep moving though. I don't know.
Yes, we're again just making them uncomfortable is not solving the problem.
It's not solving the problem, but if everybody had like a plan that are sick of the homeless and just keep moving them along, I mean, at some point maybe they'll get their act together and.
Probably not. I mean, that's
But no, because now it's becoming more popular to be homeless. Where I feel like before. To see a homeless person, it was like rare almost.
Yes.
Like now it's like common. If you don't see one for the day, it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, because they got more rights.
Because they got comfortable.
Well, because they got more rights than everybody else, per se. I mean, the average person is not going to do that. But look at and again, because you're encouraging it like anything else. You once you encourage something or make it more available, give them more money and stuff and like that, well, it just proliferates on this stuff. I mean, like I said, walk outside, open a can of tuna fish, and every cat within a 3-mile
Exactly.
radius is going to be at your front door.
Exactly.
And
I
it's just
the other day I was driving and I was stopped at a light. Just stopping at the light. I didn't do any more or any less. And this guy, who was obviously on something, gets pissed off and is like yelling at me for stopping at the cross. Like, dude, I could have hit you with my car and I decided to stop and not hit you. Why are you yelling at me? He was insane. Then he was yelling at another car. It was crazy.
But no, it's something that has to that we hopefully we're on the right track of this stuff. And hopefully we'll get it spun around. I mean, Trump said, "Hey, we're coming into California to help you out." Well, this is kind of going to put a crimp in that. But again, it's why elections are important, because that's ultimately what decides all this stuff. So,
Who's our caller?
okay, Dwayne, are you there?
Sure.
Got about
Of
5
course.
minutes. Let her rip.
Got it. So Dave Beater, the guy's out. He got beat up by another worthless turd Democrat who's not going to do anything to save this. See, do you notice what he said? We've used this sparingly. Well, there's your first problem. They shouldn't have used it sparingly. The first time somebody squatted over there, what they should have done is said, "You're out, done." Now, to bring you up to date, not everybody in my state thinks like the idiots in Boise and Ada County. So other cities in the state have passed no vagrancy laws to combat this very thing. So if you think you're going to come to the state and just, pitch camp anywhere you want, you're going to get a pitchfork up your rear end and you're going to get moved. So I wanted to tell all of these people, if they're listening to the radio, because, they probably have a right to a free radio, go move to Portland or Seattle. We don't want you here. Okay? We're done with the freeloaders. And by the way, the homeless situation here, I'm not going to give you the number, but because it might encourage somebody, but I will tell you this. It's significantly lower than what you're facing in California. But, of course, we've got a lot less people here. So, percentage-wise, it probably works out to about the same.
No, actually, it doesn't. I ran the numbers between that. But let's say Boise, which is a big town in L.A., in L.A. right now, they have about 15 times more that. And you're probably right, because they have, they've been suffering from this for a long time and encouraging it more, and it's just starting to crop up in Boise and other places like this. So your states are starting to feel the after effects of this. But no, you look for it with until this Ninth Circus issue gets reversed. Look for this to not only especially everywhere. This stuff is going to proliferate.
Well, it's in Austin, Texas. It's in Phoenix, Arizona. It's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's in Orlando, Florida. There is no escaping this because we don't encourage these people. We've got to do one of two things. The people that are mentally incapable of doing anything, that have a mental condition or some type of medical condition, we need to take care of. The rest of them, we need to put our foot up their rear end, either get them working or get them out. That's it.
I love it.
Mic drop.
You got it.
Of that. No, I agree with you 100% on that. It's we've got to do something and not just make them uncomfortable in the meantime, as kind of a slide sideways punt with this issue, yes, but ultimately we do have to come up with a solution that's going to turn this thing around. Else it will be the collapse of our society as we know it.
Well, absolutely. And how is it when we've got the lowest unemployment in 40-plus years, 50 years, okay, how is it when we've got damn near full employment that we are allowing people to be freeloading parasites on the rest of the folks carrying the load? I mean, does no one get angry at this? Why aren't you beating down the officers of your local government and saying, hey, what the hell, man? I don't want to have to push people out of the way and step through fecal matter to get to work. Is this insane or what? I mean, you look at the folks down there in L.A. city government, they literally have to wade through fecal matter to get to work. I mean, I can't believe the unions are not screaming about this, saying, they have rights, these poor, overpaid, underqualified union thug type people that are employed here. They shouldn't have to walk through this. The city should clean it up and they should do it, but they don't have any impetus to do this. That's the problem. There's absolutely no benefit from them, because what they see is a problem that requires a solution whereby only they can be the compassionate ones and deal with these people's problems. Well, I'm compassionate. I just say you're not helping these people by keeping them on the streets. They're spreading disease, crime, drug abuse, child abuse, elder abuse, all of the above. Why are we allowing this?
There you go. And I've got another guest I got to come on, but we'll pick this up tomorrow and study this one. Comey was on with Chris Wallace. And
I saw it.
Yeah, we're talking about that deal of that. Well, violating Trump and Carter Page's rights and spying on them. He said, "Oh, that was no big deal. We were doing much worse stuff than that." So study up on that. We'll get into that tomorrow.
Sounds good. See you then.
You got it.
Bye, Dwayne.
Got to be quick.
I guess.
On the no, it's something that no matter where you're at, it's going to affect you no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on the.
Diane writes in, she loves this guest. Thanks, Diane.
Yes, we're going to be on. Tune in tomorrow. We'll probably be back on. We'll pick that up. We'll pick up the Comey stuff tomorrow too on that, because that was absolutely startling. That I was surprised that he said that on the deal. But we're going to talk about where
Monday Night
Football. Wow, nothing to get you more excited about things. Yes, Monday Night Football is going on right now, and Mountains Mike's has just opened a new location in Redlands, and they want everybody to come out and see everything like that. And like I said, if you mention Stephanie as a goddess, you will get 20% off your pizza order tonight at Monday Night Football.
Or if you mention IE Newswire.
There you go on that.
Get 20%
But we got Dan Gorman, the manager, out there on the line from the Redlands Mountain Mike's Pizza. Welcome to the show with Stephanie and Roy.
Thank you. How you doing?
Absolutely
Great. How are you?
fantastic. So tell us about all the good stuff that you got going on at Mountain Mike's.
Well, we just opened up, so we've been opened up for now a good 2 weeks. Good soft open that we had there. We've been enjoying the feedback so far from everyone in Redlands. Making some pizza for you guys. Everyone's been enjoying it with our fresh pepperonis that we got nice crisp on. Everyone seems to enjoy that in the area for sure. I mean, everyone does everywhere. That's one of our staples of our industry. We do got Monday Night Football stuff going on. We got the games playing right now. We do have happy hour going on from 2 to 6 every single day. During the games as well, we got happy hour prices going on. So it's really good stuff so far.
You got it. And how many screens do you got on? Not only Monday Night Football, but you usually have the basketball games or whatever. You usually have quite a few. If anything sports is going on, you guys will have it up on the screen.
Oh, yeah. We always have everything sports-related up on the screens. People come in, they request certain games, we'll get those on there. We've had Laker games on there in the last couple of weeks. We've had every football game we can get on the TVs up on there as well. We have 7 screens total. They're all 72-inch TVs, so really big screen size there to be able to watch your game from really any corner of our lobby. We got big seating areas for groups. You can fit up to 16 people in some of our booths, so you could bring the whole team down and enjoy some pizza, some football, some sports, some alcohol, whatever you want to do. We got you covered.
You got it. You can party down. And even those of you, and we showed a picture, we're showing a picture of the pizzas and the beer and all that. Mm-hmm. But even for those of you who like to live the more healthy lifestyle, you have an absolutely great salad bar.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of healthy, you can also get the mango squeeze, which is an alcohol beverage, but it does have fruit in it. So
yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I mean, you're not having to convince me on that. I'll buy that one.
Yeah, no. In addition to the salad bar, we also offer a gluten-free crust as well. So people who are looking for that, we do have that option for them.
So yeah, you can eat healthy, and it actually tastes good too.
And you can drink healthy.
Absolutely.
Yes, and then that means you can wash it down with more beer as you're watching the Monday Night Football.
No, but those pepperonis though,
Yes.
I'm telling you, they're
That's
like
kind of your specialty, isn't it? Is those crisp
the
pepperonis
best
at
things
Mountain
in the world.
Mike's?
Oh yeah, it really is. That's why our pepperonis just have a natural casing on them, so they give them this nice little teacup shape, and that's what everyone really comes and sees, and they're just like, oh my God, those things are so cute, you know. And you bite into them, and they're even better when you taste them, and everyone just really loves those.
So if are they big enough teacup size, you can pour a little beer in the pepperoni.
Hey, that's a good idea. Oh my gosh, I gotta try that.
See?
Can't say I've had anyone try it yet, but you're more than welcome to try it yourself.
Well, maybe we're going to be there in a little bit. Maybe we'll give it a shot on. We'll drink beer out of the pepperoni cup Mountain Mike's pizza. We'll start a new tradition over at your place.
There you go.
Hey Daniel, serious question.
Yes.
Who are you going for, Saints or Colts?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really want to say. My influence might affect someone.
All right.
You're going to play the politically correct.
That's right.
There you go.
On
He
that.
meant to say the Rams, but that's cool.
Yes, they're looking pretty sad. I mean, they're hanging on by a very small thread of that, but there's always hope. They're not totally eliminated yet from being in the playoffs on that. So that's it's never over until it's over, and it's not over yet by Ram. But as they say, the fat lady in the opera is warming up in the backstages on that.
Wow.
So that they're not looking too good, but that's it. But it should be a fantastic game tonight. On top of that,
Even better time.
no matter what, you'll have some great pizza. Some craft beers. On top of that, you have Hangar 24 over there. Do you have that over there at your place?
Actually, we don't have any Hangar 24. We do have some other options because a lot of other places near us do offer those stuff. So we wanted to offer a little variance.
Well, give us some of the other
that.
options you got. Maybe there's some ones I might like better.
Yeah, we got some different craft beers. That's why we have the mango one that we mentioned, and we have a nice red called Avalanche Ale. We also have some amber ales, and we have Space Dust on tap as well. It's been pretty popular.
Have you had
we also do offer wine as well, so we got a couple different wines available for those who aren't big beer drinkers. We have a little bit of everything for you.
There you go. So, yeah, you can.
You gotta go out tonight and check it out.
That's it. We'll give you a review on all the great stuff you have over there, and everything that I've ever had over there has been absolutely fantastic on your.
Especially those mozzarella sticks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm hungry now.
But I'm really curious to see how much beer you can get in a pepperoni cup over there.
Wow. Now I'm gonna have to try it.
See, I'm full of great ideas.
It's not a good idea at all. That's why I'm wondering why I'm even willing to try it. But I will do it because I love pepperoni and I love the mango beer. So I mean,
there you go.
Together, I don't know how that's gonna be.
Maybe we'll have. Here's a good one. We'll come up with some custom deep dish pepperonis that you can pour lots of beer in. How about that?
Wow.
That's
Sorry,
a challenge.
Daniel.
That'll teach you to come on here. I'll give you some. No, that's how things. You never know. You could start a great tradition, but that's how great ideas start, by just something like that with an idea like that.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Brilliant.
We'll see you in a bit over at Mountain Mike's. Again, if you come in, mention Stephanie as a goddess. You'll get
Newswire.
Or you'll get 20% off your order on that. Doing it. So go out there. Most of all, you'll have a great time. Eat some good food. Drink some good beer or sodas or whatever your fancy. Yeah, wine or whatever your fancy is. And have a great time at the Salad Bar. If you're into the healthy stuff. I always say take one day a week and just eat whatever you want.
I do that every day.
Exactly.
Well, pretty
Pizza's
much
an everyday product.
I do that every day. It's great.
Yes, you do. Thanks for being on. We'll see you in a bit.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
You got it.
Have a good one.
You too.
That was fun.
That was. And you know what? I think if people go on and mention Stephanie's the goddess, I think Roy's just going to pay your whole tab.
I don't think
kidding.
so.
I'm kidding.
You probably weren't. That's what makes me nervous.
I want to see how many people come in and say that now.
That will be interesting. See how many show up on saying that.
And if you go, never mind.
I wonder how the. Now I'm curious to see how the. But no, I think that's a great idea. Make some really deep dish deep dish pepperoni cups, and then you can use them as shots.
No. That just would never work.
Well, how do you know?
Because that's weird.
I don't know. That might be the next internet sensation that blows up and goes viral all over the country.
Maybe.
I don't know. The salt.
Am I really gonna try that?
The salt and the pepperonis and stuff ought to flavor up. Because a lot of people put salt in their beer.
They do. Like Coronas, yeah. Forgot about that. Should bring that back. I haven't seen that happen in a while.
See, you never know.
I don't know.
Roy's special deep dish pepperoni shot glasses at Mountain Mike's.
No, that would never sell. There's no way. I got to try this tonight. Now I'm just intrigued. You know what? It might, because even I want to try it, and I already know it's going to be gross, but I want to do it anyway.
Well, yeah, take the challenge.
I don't know.
I mean, it beats eating, beating a big handful of worms or something. The people do.
Oh my gosh, do people do that?
Yes. Haven't you ever seen that? They do them reality or whatever TV shows they do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like on.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, Roy. What's that show called? With that one guy.
Yeah, that show by that one guy. See, I don't even know them, and I don't watch them, but
it's
I
not
know.
Ripley's, believe it or not. What? Fear Factor?
Fear
Thank
Factor.
you. What's that guy's name? I heard he's a jerk, too. But he's out in Vegas now. I think. Why? Because I said that he's a jerk?
Made the producer mad.
Sorry, producer. Don't do the close-up camera, please. But haven't you heard that?
No. Did you see that?
You haven't heard that he's a jerk?
Really? Do you know his name? No, I have no idea.
Rogue, right? Jeff Rogue? No.
You don't know his name. Now he's Googling.
Oh, that's going to bug me.
Yeah. Or searching. Use DuckDuck.
Joe Rogan? That was close.
Oh, it's Joe Rogan that does it? The guy that's supposed to be the big podcaster?
I heard he was a jerk. He has a cool show, though. I wonder why they don't do it anymore. But yeah, they would make people eat like giant cockroaches and sit in tubs with snakes and
all that.
It's such a liability thing. I wonder how they.
Well, I think you're pretty much signing your life away when you agree to
but
be
like
on
when
the
they
show.
put tarantulas all over you, do you think they're like safe ones, or do you think they just went out to the forest and picked a bunch of tarantulas? Like I feel like they're probably somebody's pet.
Well, I would hope they would use the real ones. I mean, why would you want to? If it was fake,
for
then
purposes.
there's no but no, that's the.
But there's still a lot of fear you got to get over, even if it's somebody's pet. Like I still want to do that, even if the spider was.
That brings up a good. Back in the old Roman days, would you go to the when they used to have the lions out there and they used to throw people out there and see if you
no. Well, back in the day, I probably wouldn't be so soft if I grew up with it.
That's true. You might the old Roman chariot days and all that. Again, like I say, there's cheaters and losers. I'm
gonna be a loser because I ain't trying to play with tigers. I want to get a pet tiger though. Some people do that. Would you ever have a pet tiger?
Well, Beverly and Valley Engelhoff did.
Who's
you ever remember Engelhoff's rental yard over there in Ruby Doo or Harupa Valley, right there at Mission and Limonite?
Who?
Engelhoff Brothers Rental Yard.
No.
Oh, well, they owned that. They owned that for many years. He used to race too. He's very back in the old jalopy super modified days. That Valley did, and yeah, they used to have pet lions over there, right in your old stomping ground. Used to bring them They used to bring them to the Orange Show to the races.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We were not wrapped real tight back in the day. Well, back in the day, nobody gave a crap. No, yeah. Bring your lions out with you. They used to tote them everywhere.
That's insane.
Well, probably, but
I don't know why.
That's what we did.
You would ever want to do that. So I do want to talk about the happenings on Friday. My mother, for her birthday, went and got a tattoo.
Yes.
I wanted to share a couple photos that I had sent in, if Jesse would be so kind to put it up, because he's the best producer in the world.
There you go.
She did great.
Producer
She
extraordinaire.
only cried for about the first 20 minutes. That's the after.
That's the cartoon
That's
strip.
the
Oh
during.
yes,
I love that photo. I just wanted to share that.
Yes,
photo 'cause it's great.
that is.
Sorry, Mom.
Oh man, that just looks painful. There.
She
Oh,
did
there's a
good.
good picture of it there.
Yeah.
And tell the background story of what that is.
The background story is her father was stationed out in
Your grandfather.
Yes. Her father, my grandfather, better?
Yes.
Stationed out in Hawaii when he was in the Navy. And he had a little cartoon strip in the newspaper called Hawaiian Life with Susie, which was after my mother. And that right there is little Susie with her teddy bear. So she went and got that.
Do I get to
tattoo on her.
correct you like Mom did with me? It was a block, not a strip.
Oh, a block. My
Which I didn't know. And now that
Sounds
Jesse
better
told
when
me,
you
I
say
said, "Well, what's the
strip,
difference?"
but
Block is just a one picture, like a one deal, like I think Family Circus
Right.
was. That now a strip is like the Peanuts, where you have multiple deals, and a block is just a one deal cartoon strip, which I never really paid attention to. Bringing that up, like I said, that's the one thing I miss probably most about not having the daily newspaper or them going out, is because I always loved, the whole page, was comic, Peanuts, Haggard the Horrible, Beetle Bailey, Family Circus, Garfield, The Far Side. Man, Calvin and Hobbes, all those great cartoons that you don't get anymore, or just seems like they're not anything. And I think that's one thing one thing especially I miss with the kind of the demise of the daily paper, or that, or how do you do that on, that's just something that doesn't project, on the screen, on the computer screen, like it does in a newspaper, at least to me.
What's a newspaper?
Well, no, I can understand that, because I mean, they're like they said, like they call it the Dead Tree Society, because hardly any. I think like in Moreno Valley, like only 15% of the people get like the Press Enterprise or something. When
Well,
you
I'm mad because I paid for a newspaper, not the Press Enterprise, I'm not going to say who, and I never ended up getting it, and I paid for the whole year. And I wanted a coupon, man. I ruined my couponing.
Yes. That's
mad
not
about that.
good.
Yep. And then I called them and I said I wanted my newspaper, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll send it to you. We'll make sure you get it." Never got it. Called again. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll send it out.
Annoying.
No, that's.
Anyway, so then now you can get the newspaper online. It's kind of, but I think holding the newspaper, like now as I get
Yes.
older, holding the newspaper, drinking my coffee in the morning, yelling at the kids to stop screaming because I'm trying to read. I mean, that's just adulthood right there.
Yes, I mean that. There's
It's nice to hold something.
Yes, there's
and
something
not
about.
this.
Yeah, there's something about if you can look through a catalog, or read a newspaper, or read a comic book, or something. It's just a different feel vibe than
Right.
I mean, I get it. You don't have to lug around or tote around a bunch of stuff or throwing it away and stuff. And it's more efficient on the computer. But again, there's just something, like you say, and there's that intrinsic value that you don't know how to explain, but you
Exactly.
just know what it is. You just kind of miss that little vibe in there on that,
And the coupons.
and the coupons.
I mean, what the heck, man?
No more coupons. There's the music.
It's depressing. Come out to Mountain Mike's
Mike's.
in Redlands.
Mention Stephanie's a Goddess, and you'll get 20% off.
20% off. I
on that.
mean, that's
How can
a
you beat
deal.
that?
Exactly. And get some
See
mini
if we can.
pepperonis, pour some beer inside the mini pepperonis.
There
and
you
eat
go.
it and see how it tastes.
See
and then
how
when
it-
you spit it out, you can think of Roy.
Just don't spit it at me. You got it.
You can.
We'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Be ready to rock
Taco
and roll.
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. On that, we're gone.
We're gone. You didn't set up good for that one.